And do not forget to click on the bell icon. Flow 94.9 FM, the flow of God's own states. Join our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Flow 949 FM. And now, introducing our YouTube channel, Flow 949 FM. Flow 949 FM. Watch us live as we bring you trending news, politics, and lots of entertainment.
Last day of the month of January 2019. Today is the 31st of January 2019, and it is the fourth working day of the week. This is the last major news bulletin for the day. News now on Flow 94.9 FM, the flow of God's own state. Good evening. My name is Michael. Only the headlines. APC missing on INEC's final governorship list in Rivers and Zamfara states. EFCC calls for assistance to curb inflow of illicit fund into Nigeria. APC appeals for release of its kidnapped Abia State chairman. And on the foreign scene, UK members of parliament scrap February holiday to allow Brexit debate. The details shortly. The Independent National Electoral Commission is refusing to shift grounds on its decision to stop the All Progressives Congress in Zamfara State from presenting candidates for the forthcoming general elections. The commission made a clarification in a statement issued by its national commissioner and the chairman of its Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye. INEC had earlier said it would release the final list of the governorship and the state assembly candidates today. However, it said that the status quo remained unchanged. And meanwhile, in Rivers State, the final list of the candidates was released, but absent on the list are the names of the candidates of the All Progressives Congress, APC. An elder statesman, Edwin Clark, is urging the Independent National Electoral Commission to take charge of the deployment of security personnel during the February and March elections. Clark, in a statement entitled INEC should take responsibility for management and control of the 2019 electoral security in Nigeria, noted that the electoral body should be in charge of the police personnel posted for election duties. He said INEC should sit down with the police authority to work out the number of police personnel needed to cover the elections, insisting that if INEC take charge of the police posting, it will avert a system of red posting by the police authorities on the eve of the election. The Code of Conduct Tribunal has fixed 4th of February for the resumption of hearing and the charges filed against the suspended Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Nohe. The head press and public relations, Ibrahim Al-Hassan, disclosed this in a press conference. Onohe is facing 6 counts of false asset declaration filed against him by the Code of Conduct Bureau. The tribunal had earlier adjourned sitting in the matter following an interim order of the Court of Appeal, which ordered it to stay proceedings. But the Court of Appeal on Wednesday reversed the interim order by refusing to grant the interlocutory injunction sought by Onohe. And now the federal government has filed 10 charges bordering on allegations of fraud against the former secretary to the government of the Federation, Babachir Lawal. The federal government also filed 4 charges of alleged fraud against the former Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ayodele Oke, and his wife, Folashade Oke. Oke and his wife will be arraigned before Justice Aneke of the Federal High Court in Lagos tomorrow, while Babachir Lawal will be arraigned before Abuja High Court next week. The acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Magus, says there is a top politician that is planning to repatriate funds into the country ahead of next month's general elections. Magus said the politician had earlier denied ownership of the property when attempts were made to confiscate it, but the unnamed person has sold it and is planning to repatriate the funds to Nigeria. The EFCC boss therefore urged compliance officers to assist the commission in curbing the inflow of illicit funds by reporting suspicious transactions to the EFCC. In Lagos State, a group of protesters stormed the Lagos State House of Assembly to protest against the planned impeachment of Governor Akinwumi Ambode. The men and women who carried banners with inscriptions of their agitation said the removal of the governor will disrupt the peaceful conduct of the general elections.
We are here today to appeal to Lagos State House of Assembly. You step aside the issue of impeaching Governor Kinwumi Ambode. We are saying that Ambode, by record, is the best performing governor in Nigeria. And we are saying the ticket of the party has been taken away from him.
Responding, the Speaker of the House of Assembly assured the protesters that the lawmakers will follow due process.
We have the mandate of the House of Assembly to receive a group of people or one person that have things to say to the Assembly. We are representative of the people. We are responsive and we are responsive.
I recall that Lagos State's House of Assembly had accused the governor of gross misconduct and illegally spending from the 2019 budget, which was yet to be approved. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, is promising to undertake reforms that will boost the nation's economy and infrastructure if elected. The PDP candidate said this while delivering a lecture at the Lagos Island Club titled "My Vision to Get Nigeria Working Again."
That the Obasanjo administration came into office with a crude price of $11 per barrel and yet took our country out of recession, paid our foreign debt, and grew the economy up to 7% at the agricultural sector and 6% the other sectors of the economy. The only time the price of crude rose to $100 was in the 2 years.
Is the exit date. Our final stop this evening is sports. And David Talks is standing by. Good evening to you, David.
Yes, a very good evening to you, Michael.
What is the latest in the world of sports?
Well, it's all about the transfer deadline day.
Okay.
And though in Europe it's deadline day, in Southern Africa it is also deadline day. Well, first of all, good evening and welcome to Sports News Update. Well, we begin with stories from the red side of Manchester, as Manchester United winger Anthony Martial has signed a new 5-year contract with the club on deadline day after months of negotiations and transfer speculations. The Frenchman rejected an extension offer back in October last year. Amid widespread reports, he was unhappy with his situation at the club under former boss Jose Mourinho. His previous deal was due to expire at the end of the 2018-2019 campaign, but United triggered a 1-year extension and continued talks over a more permanent arrangement. Well, it's deadline day in England, and it's also deadline day in South Africa. And Kaizer Chiefs have completed a transfer deadline day of signing of Nigeria international goalkeeper Daniel Akpeyi from another South African club, Chippa United. The details of the deal were, however, not revealed. And finally, Chelsea defender Gary Cahill turned down potential moves to Juventus, Monaco and Fulham during the January transfer window. Flow Sports understands. The 33-year-old was unable to agree personal terms with Claudio Ranieri's side. He also turned down Juventus and Monaco in order to continue fighting for his place at Chelsea. Cahill's contract is due to expire at the end of the season. That transfer story wraps it up in Sports News Update. My name is David Oku. I hand you back to Michael Oni, who's standing by.
Well, thank you very much, David. What is that biggest expected transfer as this transfer window will be closing today?
Well, a host of clubs have been in the market for transfers, but it's not had the real big thing, you know, where transfer deadline days in January have had in the past. There are no panic buys. There are no situations where clubs are delving in to get a host of players in on deadline day.
All right, thank you.